from 96 to 2003.
That's a third strike. How much time did they issue? 25 to life.
And they don't give you no good time, good behavior.
Do 85% of whatever they gave.
I feel like my life on the line. Jungle in these streets, pick your beats on the line. Hustle to increase, put it all on the line. House to spouse, family freedom, walking yards on the line. Every day I wake up like my life on the line. Jungle in these streets, pick your beats on the line.
Yeah, welcome back. How you guys doing? Once again, we back at it on the line. I'm Junior with J.J.Fomby. Unfortunately, J.J.Fomby had to step away for a minute to handle something, but you stuck with me. Today, we're going to have a guest on who has been with the California State Prison system for quite some time. Every California state prison in California, he has been there. And today we're going to talk to him about that side of being on the yard as a CO, not as an inmate or a prisoner. But before we get into that, you can also catch us, me and J.J.Fomby, Roku, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pandora, iTunes, Apple iPod, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, and all those streaming sites. So, once again, we have a guest coming on who is a California correctional officer, and we're going to hear his side of being on the yard with inmates instead of hearing our side. It's a little bit different, but we'll let him tell you about the ins and outs of how they run their program as COs. So without further ado, we're going to welcome to the show, Kev. Kev, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Junior?
What's
Thank
up?
you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah. This is really important because, a lot of people don't hear it from the other side. We, as ex-inmates or inmates or whatever you want to call us, has told our story up and down, left and right, how it is on the yard, dealing with politics and blah, blah, blah. But no one has heard it from your side of dealing with the yard and what comes with being a CO. And it's just as serious as being an inmate.
Right, yeah, I definitely got my side of the story. I think for me, it was comfortable starting in that environment, growing up in the IE, most of these dudes that were on the yard in the housing units, they remind me of dudes that I grew up with. So it was definitely that comfort zone, but at the same time, your head still is on that swivel for your surroundings.
Oh, okay. Now, before we go get into it, how long have you been, in that business?
I did almost 28 years.
Ooh, yeah. So what, in the beginning, what made you go that route? Because you knew, growing up in the hood, you knew people going in and out of jail. What was the drive, that sent you towards that way?
You know what? Actually, it just started on a fluke. One of my homeboys, he just out of the blue, he just called me one day and asked me, did I want to go sign some applications for the Department of Correction? And I was even like, what's that? He was like, working in a prison. So I was like, shit, I don't have nothing else to do today. Shit, I'll roll. And that's where it started.
Now, on our side, as far as being in there, whether it be our first time, second time, or bouncing around the different prisons, when we go in, we meet and congregate with people who show us the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts of being on the yard as a inmate. How is it coming from your side?
Basically the same thing. Like my first housing unit, the sergeant that gave me that job, he pretty much partnered me up with a dude that had a little bit more time than I had, a lot more experience. So he basically, showed me the ropes, the do's and the don'ts, watch out for this, watch out for that. So it's basically the same thing, you basically got somebody on your side that's trying to show you the roles. And I think the more people you work with, you pick a little bit of everybody that you work with, and, that's how you create yourself in there.
Okay. Now, how many prisons have you been to as far as being in the Department of Corrections?
I worked at Lancaster State Prison for over 10 years. And then after that, I did transportation
Ooh, that's
for
what you really want.
17 plus.
So you transported inmates through every California state prison in California.
Yes, I've been to every state pen, few camps, most of the CCFs. They house inmates out of state for a while, so even some of those.
Now, getting into the nasty part of it, for those out there who are listening and viewing, it is very grimy in the pen system, depending on what level you go to. But from your perspective, what stuff have you seen without giving up too much, just because, what I'm saying, of your position?
Right. No, I think first of all, you have to look at the body searches every day. Every day, you walking in and out of buildings, either you're going to have another man or woman, going through your pockets every day, seeing what you got on your person, all the way down to telling you to get butt naked, stripping all the way down, coughing, bend over at the waist, spread your cheeks and cough. That's, it's degrading. So that's one thing that you have to look forward to when you are in the system.
Every
day.
It's very humiliating for an inmate to have another human being look inside his ass, bend over, lift your balls up. And I'm not being too graphic, but this is things that we have to do as inmates, and you have to do as on the other side of, being a correctional officer. You have to look at things like that every day. It's very degrading and humiliating.
Oh, definitely. And it ain't nothing that anybody want to, do that every day. I was like, just like I told you in previous conversations, like it's something that's taught to you, and you have to get used to doing it. And, just like, human nature, once you start doing things often, after a while, it's no big deal on my part. But like I said, it was definitely that challenge getting over that hill, because I was like, I don't want to look at this naked man every day and do this every day. No. So I was like, even me as a grown man, I don't like people touching me like that. So I can imagine somebody telling me to take my clothes off, strip down every day.
It becomes, everyday routine. And then once you're there, as us being inmates, we get familiar with the officers, who's the asshole, who's okay to, talk to or interact with or something like that. Do y'all have y'all own kind of like notions of the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, like, especially like when I worked in the prisons, they, within our cells, we kind of categorize it in two different parts. You had an inmate and you had a convict. A convict is somebody that just face reality. This is where I am. I'm a stay out your way, you stay out my way, and I'm gonna try to obey by the rules. An inmate is, that's that individual just gonna play those games every day, just go against the rules, all the time.
So he could be a headache.
Yes, definitely.
Now, when you get out of the building and you go to the yard, is there a different atmosphere between being in the housing unit and then being on the yard?
It's less familiar, because now you have individuals that you don't work around every day. So you have all the buildings out there on the yard. So now it's a mixture. So you're gonna know some and you don't know some. But I think it's more toxic when it's like that, because now you got a whole bunch of people out there. And just men, in general, we're challenging. So you know how that is. A simple little argument can blow up to, who knows what.
Have you ever, well, of course you have, but I'm just going to ask anyway, the riot situation, what's that like as in your position?
I've been in a few. Like I said, I worked in a prison, at the beginning of my career. So it's been a while. But no, it's one of those things you could sit back and watch, or, you know, you jump in the middle of it and take action. You know, fortunately, I've never been in a riot where they were after us. You know, usually it's prison politics that causes that. So normally, you know, we're not the target. You know, you're just trying to quell the situation.
Have you ever heard of or kind of passed through the wind that there is a target on a certain individual correctional officer?
Oh yeah, I mean, you get little kites like that all the time, but I think most of the time it's somebody that, you know, the inmates might want the CO off the yard, so put a kite in saying his life is being threatened. So that's the easy way to get him off of the yard.
And it
It might
worked.
be that dude that's always searching and always finding shit. So, hey, get Kevin off of the yard, so we're gonna put this kite on him.
And it works.
And most of the time it works. Most
You
of
know,
the time it
one
works.
thing about prison that I know for sure is it's not like being outside. Because being in prison, everybody is created equal. Everybody eat the same shit. They wear the same shit. They do the same thing. So everybody is created equal. But to your position, do you see a lot of things that goes down and you know, like, okay, I seen that coming, you know, because you might be on the yard with the inmates and every program may be going cool. You come in, do your aid, you do this, then you got this one individual that hits the yard and disrupts everything. And now it's like, okay, game on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think just like anything else though, I mean, you put 1,000 men on the yard, you're gonna have your stronger ones survive, and then you're gonna have your weaker ones. So when somebody feels intimidated or threatened by something, hey, they gonna get that word out saying, hey, you're gonna have problems when Junior hit the yard. You know, Junior is a problem. So, you know, we got to get Junior out as soon as possible. So you definitely got those red flags out there that's gonna warn you about everything that's going on around you.
And now that we have you on, that you joined the show, that me and J.J.Fomby been pushing since we started this show. You know, we're not advocating violence. We're not promoting violence. We're not, you know, encouraging people to go out there and get theirs in, catch a body. But you do have these young, even older individuals out there who just think, you know, it's not going to happen to me. And that's the worst thing you can go through life thinking when you out there acting a fool that, oh, it ain't going to happen to me. So in your experience, you know, the weak in there, even the strong, it is very grimy and it's a lion's den in those prisons.
No, definitely. And I even hate to quote this because somebody, you know, told me this quote a long time ago. Not only do your decisions affect you, but you got to look at everybody else around you that affect. You know, I know dudes that, you know, they say, you know, I go out there, rob and steal. You know, I do this for my family. But then you got to look at the other end of the spectrum that, you know, when you get caught, you know, what happens to those individuals that you were trying to look out for?
That they on their own.
They on their own now without you. It even puts you in a worse situation now because those same individuals that you cared about, now they got to try to fend for themselves. Plus, they got to try to take care of you while you in there.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Once again, if you have joined us, this is On the Line with Junior and J.J.Fomby. J.J.Fomby, as you can see, is not with us right now. He had to take care of something very important. But you have me, and then this is Kev, or Kevin, if you wanna call him. He is a California in the Department of California Corrections, been to all the California state prisons that you can think of, from the highs and lows, and he has done transportation. So this is what we're talking about, trying to encourage and give people out there who's acting a fool, you know, going to prison and hearing it from his side is not the business. It's not good at all. And we're sitting here with him, and he's just giving us the insight on his side of the fence, being not an inmate, but, you know, watching over the inmates.
No, and Junior, I mean, you guys can definitely push the issue about the politics. I'm like, you know, the whole politics, the race issues. I mean, it's just a whole nother level of stuff that you got to be worried about. You know, not just doing time. You know, the stress about being away from your family, your girl, your wife. You know, what they doing out there while you locked up. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I was like, it's just a lot of stress that you don't have to put yourself, your family, your kids, it's not even worth it.
I have a question that somebody threw out there, one of the viewers, recidivism. You've been in there a long time. How many people you see come and go and come and come back again? And it's like, damn.
See, like when I worked transportation, you didn't see a lot of the same people a whole lot. But when I worked in a prison, I mean, you saw it a whole lot. I even had a clerk. I wish I knew it, remembered his name. He beat the 3 strikes law. And I thought it was funny because when he came back from court and he said he was going home in a couple of days, I'm like, what you gonna do when you get out? And the first thing he said was buy a gun and a sack of rocks. And I'm like, come on now, don't be doing that.
Whoa.
And probably about 3-4 years later, I seen him at New Folsom, and he had got in trouble again and ended up getting a 10-year bid. And I was like, man, you beat the odds of beating the 3 strikes law. They give you a chance to go back out on the streets, and then you come back again. I was like, that's crazy.
Jesus Christ. I mean, you got, it's some people just have it in them to just go out there and do dumb shit.
No, and it kind of reminds me, and I wish I was good at remembering songs, names, and all that, but E40 did a song and talking about selling dope and all that. And then he was talking about the square dude that went to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
In the long run, you pretty much make the same amount of money.
Yeah, that's true, man. One thing you said earlier about stress, people think that's outside. Oh, man, you good. You in prison. They taking care of you and this and that. But they don't talk about the suicide that happens in prison because they just can't either handle the time or they can't handle the programming that's going on. They get beat, they getting their money taken. It's just a lot of stuff going on, and some people just wake up and can't do it. They just cannot do it.
No, a quick little story. First starting, I'm working first watch. And, you have to make sure everybody's alive when you're going by. And sure enough, I go by one door and I look in there and the dude is on the bed. But to me, from my view, it looks like he's surrounded with jelly. So I'm looking. And then when I realized, the jelly is coming from his wrist, he tried to commit suicide. And I was like, he was bleeding so bad. I was like, he was the blood was so thick, it looked like jelly.
Oh,
and,
wow.
The back end of the story, he owed some money for some weed and, he couldn't pay it. And I guess he just decided, he was just going to kill himself, to not even deal with that no more. But I mean, it's a lot of stress on there.
Yeah, it is. People hang themselves and just, do things. I don't know what that word is called, but they do because they can't kill themselves. They just don't have a stomach for it. They'll put themselves in a situation so somebody else can do it.
Well, they call it suicide by cop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now that happens a lot too.
Yeah.
Some people just in the gun towers, like you know how it is, lay down or don't obey the rules, and they just, once you don't drop that knife or lay down, they give it to you. On the riot yards, and it's just, being in the beginning stages of going through prison, getting your cell, and some people don't want this type of guy in their cell, and it's just the things that you see. Let people out there know that, hey man, it's an everyday thing to wake up and you have to be in survival mode every day of your life.
Oh yeah, I mean, just imagine you just trying to pick a individual that you're gonna be locked up with, in a small room, most of the day, if I got to take a, excuse the language, but if I got to take a shit, you right there next to me, probably not even 5 feet away from me. So it's a lot of thinking and process going into, who gonna be my cellmate, how compatible are we, as friends, how often do he have to stay in the cell and I have to leave,
Cell
it's a
time.
whole lot.
Cell time. Yep.
And then even the gang part of it, where is he from? Where is I'm from? And
could you
what's his financial situation? What's my financial situation?
touch
Is he
on
gonna
that
be
a little
taking my
bit?
canteen?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you got to deal with that. If you're not getting no visits, getting no letters, people just written you off. How do you deal with individuals that that's going through it? Their family has disowned them. Their girlfriend ran off with whoever. And do they act? Some people act out on that, or they just ball up and don't just come out they cell.
You know what? I think most of the time, those are going to be the individuals that's going to just start acting crazy, and that's going to be pretty much referred back to that mental health side of the prison system, and they deal with that. And
I have a serious question to ask you, man. Not that
yes,
serious.
sir.
Serious. Has there ever been a time that you feared for your life or was kind of skeptical about, damn, man, what am I doing here? Just depending on what prison you was in?
Junior, I can honestly say there's only been one time where fear really entered me. And I just remember this dude, they had him in a stand-up cage. And I mean, he was probably a good 6'6", not muscular, but just trimmed and fit. So these cages are probably, I say a good 7-8 foot, and not much room to move in. But this dude could actually stand in the cage and put his foot on top of the cage. So this dude said he had medical issues, so they brung him out. So they had him cuffed up in the back. And when they set him down, this dude was so fast, he went from the back all the way to the front with the cuffs. And one of my partners on the yard, big Mexican dude, when I saw the fear in his eyes, it kind of scared me, because it's like, oh shoot, this dude is bigger than I am.
Right.
And if he's scared, I better be scared. So yeah, I mean, I'm human, just because I got a badge on don't mean I can whoop everybody. So, it's that communication. I'm not going to be, the better person in every situation. So it comes with that experience.
So, okay. Great news. Great news. Time out real quick. We have our other half coming in. Fomby, what's up, my man? Yeah, we just tuning in. Hey, Fomby handled what he had to handle. He's back. Hey, man, what's going on, Fomby? Yes, sir. Fomby has to give us his he's unmuted. His mic is muted, but now it's getting interesting. Yeah. Welcome back to the show. Once again, if you guys tuning in, this is Junior, J.J.Fomby on the line. We got a guest person in the Department of Corrections. He's going to tell his side of being in the yards and being on state prisons and doing all that kind of stuff. Fomby wasn't here in the beginning. He's here now. Without further ado, let's get back into it. Let's get back on track. Fomby's mic is still muted. But anyhow, like you were saying, yeah, you have some inmates who very intimidating.
Oh yeah. I could go back from my beginning, Junior. I started when I was 22 years old. So you figure 22 years old, and they're gonna put me in a housing unit, level 4, killers, rapists, and they're supposed to listen to this 22-year-old kid. So it's definitely a eye opener. It's like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
But like I said, majority of the dudes in there, it just remind me of dudes that I grew up with. So, and that was the comfort zone.
Speaking of which, not really much going into detail, but have you ever ran into somebody on the yard that you personally know?
Yes. And I was just telling a friend yesterday, I think that's the hardest part of the job, is when you run into somebody that you personally know. And then especially like, you know, the situation I was telling you about, you know, the strip outs and all that. So, you know, you gotta tell, you know, your friend from the streets, you know, strip out, you know. So yeah, that's definitely discourteous about the job. That,
and then too, probably thinking he run. Oh, I know dude from the street. He might have an idea. Okay, now I can get some stuff going on, but it has to be a mutual respect. That hey, I know you from the street, but I know this is your job. I know I'm doing my time. I'm not trying to get something out of you, or for you not here to make my stay more comfortable and all that old good stuff, you know, because you do have situations where people try to find the weak person and befriend them so they can start moving in and trying to get stuff out of them.
no, definitely. I've never been put in that situation where they ask me for anything. I think for the most part, they're gonna act like they don't know you because they don't want no more attention on themselves. So, and that's probably a good thing for both of us because now neither one of us have to explain why we know each other.
Oh yeah, that's excuse me. Is that something that if the higher up find out that this is your relative or your cousin related or a friend of yours, or do they pull you aside and kind of like give you a brief of what's going on? Hey, we have to, you know, how does that work?
Actually, it's kind of the opposite. So if I know, you know, Junior's my cousin, and Junior comes into the yard that I'm on, I'm supposed to tell him myself and say, hey, you know, Junior's my cousin, you know, this is how I know him. This is kind of what our relationship is. If I haven't seen Junior and we don't talk to each other, you know, that's, you know, probably no big deal. But yeah, you know, Junior was just at my house last week, you know, before he got locked up. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. They're going to move one of us.
Oh, Mr. Fomby, what is going on? Uh-oh, audio issues. Okay, all right. Well, what'd you say, Fomby? Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, his audio was. He had technical difficulties on his side. You know, have you ever wanted to fight an inmate? Like, fuck this shit, man. We need to get out. I'm sick of you, and I know you're sick of me.
Again, Junior, I think just as men, we're confrontational and we're challenging. So, I mean, I think there's always that limit that we all have where it's like, you know, I could call you so many names, but if that one name I call you, you know, pushes your button, you know, and like I said, we're human, so hell yeah, without a doubt, probably many a times. But
yeah, man, I didn't. It's been plenty of times where I've heard inmates say, I'm gonna get this nigga here. But like, nah, don't do it.
Oh yeah, I could see it because, you know, a lot of people that work in the system, you know, it's that imaginary shield that you got just because you got that badge on, that this individual is going to do what you say and not hurt you. But in reality, like, you know, there's a lot of people with nothing to lose. Like, yeah, I already got life, so me beating you up, what do I have to lose? So
yeah. And then going back to what you were saying earlier, when you was a rookie, I'm only 22. These guys been in here 10, 15 years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Like, they already know the system. I'm just new and green at this.
Yeah, and it's funny because like over the years, I had a dude named Donald in my housing unit. He used to always tell everybody I was his son.
Oh,
and this little joke went on for years and years and years. And after I got into transportation, you know, I knew where he was. So I was like, I'm gonna look this dude up when I go through there. So I go to the prison and I call his housing unit and tell him to meet me at the gate. And even to this day, he would tell his housing unit cops that his son was at the gate and he wanted to talk to him. And I just think that is just so hilarious that, you know, to this day, you know, he's still, that's my son, but you know.
Hey, we have a question that somebody want to ask you. Control, go ahead. Annie Leach, how you doing? Shout out to Annie Leach. She want to know, have you ever personally witnessed inside corruption with personnel?
Personally, no. You hear the aftermath about it, you know, all the time. And I think it's funny because like if I see Officer Joe Blow get caught bringing in dope, it's like, how do I think I could get away with it if this person got caught, that person got caught, and this person got caught? You know, it's just too many eyes for you to even fathom that you're going to get away with it. Because that's just like, you know, from the inmate's perspective, like if I'm bringing in dope for Junior, and excuse me for always using you for my example.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool.
But if I'm bringing it in for Junior and, you know, Mike over here gets mad because I'm not bringing none for him, sooner or later, Mike going to be like, you know, fuck that. I'm telling. So there's just no way around it. So I just I don't even understand it.
We have another question. Go ahead, Control, shoot. Eric Stovall. Shout out to Eric Stovall. He wants to know, how many cats have you had to rough up in this? Welcome back, Fomby.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep, we all good.
What's up, Loco?
What's going on?
No,
hey,
I ain't talking
Eric,
to you, CO.
I can't even answer that. You know, just on the professional side, that's it's never been in me. You know, if I treat you cool with respect, you know, I just expect the same thing back. So I always had that philosophy that if I had to put my hands on you, you made me do that. I don't get off on doing nothing like that.
Once again, this is On the Line. If you have just tuned in, we have me, Junior, and J.J.Fomby has joined us with our guest, Kevin. He is on the other side of the yard, not the inmate, but he's the one who, you know, do what he do in the Department of Corrections. Fomby, welcome to the show. Go ahead, man. What's going on with you?
Like I said, I'm just perpetrating Desert Square, man. That's all.
That's right.
Hey, what day did they hand out toilet paper and tooth powder, officer?
The first of the month.
Okay, do I get 2 rolls or 3 rolls?
You get 2 rolls.
So is that for both? Is that for both spellies or is that for individual?
It was for both.
Oh, okay.
That's real.
That's kind of rough.
Yeah, that's that CDCR. Well, they don't play the game, man. They serious in the paint with it.
Let me ask you this. So what happened when you run out?
I'm at the politic the tender to get more.
See, it's different in the feds because what we do, we just go to the office and be like, man, when
I left, they was getting you, like, if you used all your toilet paper, they would give you partials. I mean, they give you half of the roll. They don't give you the whole roll.
How the fuck you gonna survive off half of a roll?
Yeah, but you better use it wisely.
Man,
no, it's crazy that we're even talking about toilet paper, and that's just like an essential.
Mm-hmm.
So then you even get deeper with that, you know, with the soap.
Oh,
you know, tooth powder. It wasn't even toothpaste; it was tooth powder.
Yeah.
So
that's that non-fishing fun kit right there. You wear that tooth powder. That tooth powder come in a little bitty envelope about this big. And they be serious about how they ration out. You think they was handing out keys of dope up in there? It was that tooth powder. Seriously. Well,
what day is the stores?
Depends on what number. What's your last 2? Yeah, you got 1 week. You got these numbers like 0 to what is it? 49. That's first draw. Then from 49 all the way down to 100. That's second draw, and that's the next week. So then the third week,
depending on your classification, is how much money you could actually spend.
That too.
Oh,
well, that's true. That is true. He know what he's talking about.
All the listeners out there and viewers that's tapping in with us. we are talking about state, not feds. I've been to the feds. I haven't been to the state, so this is where my man Fomby, he can, really, really interact about what goes on in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't speak on that. I really ain't proud of it, but this is what I had to deal with when I was pushing that line. I was on the line, pushing the line, and the end result, I was placed in custody. So basically, I'm not glorifying all the trials and tribulations, but there's a back end to pushing that gangster line. You out there massing in these streets, duck tying folks up, dumping on them out your car, slanging what you're slanging. The high chances of two things gonna happen to you. You're gonna get gunned down, either by the enemy, the cops, or getting arrested, end up in prison, serving long stints of time.
Right.
As I sit back now today and look at the amount of time I messed out of my life, man, I did a doozy on myself, but I pressed that line. And I just want all the viewers and the listeners to understand that not glorifying pushing that G line, man. It's not conducive to the body, it's not conducive to the mind, and you can damage yourself as well as damage your family, your relationship with your family. So I'm glad and honored, appreciate that. We got what was you? Was you just a CO? Was you a sergeant or a lieutenant? Or what was your status up in there?
Well, I was a CO and a sergeant.
Oh yeah, You was all in. You was down in the pain of it.
Yeah.
I appreciate.
And JJ, just I heard you mention your family. I have a nephew. Same thing. He started at YA, in and out of YA. Every time he got out, I'm gonna do better. And then I thought the turning point was gonna be when my dad passed away. He was locked up in YA, and they actually let him come to the funeral. But he came in full oranges, chained up, and then he was embarrassed. He didn't even want to come inside the funeral. So, and it was kind of odd because he didn't want to come in there. So I went out and I asked the team, showed them my credentials and be like, hey, can I walk him in? So the officer said no, but then their supervisor was like, yeah, go ahead and do it. And I thought that was going to be the turning point for my nephew. But every time he got out, I think for myself, I went out my way, hey, let me buy you some clothes. Let me put some money in your pocket. And it's just something about that street life that he is just addicted to and just back and forth. Just went back just not too long ago for some, gun shit. So it's like, some people you could try, but it's just endless. It's you can't help them.
Yeah, I understand completely what you're saying. I was a back and forth to the yard type dude. I done made several trips to the yard, 2 different numbers. Once again, I'm not proud of it, but I pressed that line, man, and pushed that line. So as I sit back and hear you say what you said, y'all know probably my uncles and my aunties, they all knew something was always wrong with me, but as now I've been out the amount of time I've been out now, they just been like, hey, boy, you really hanging out here, ain't you? Normally it's now you see me, now you don't. That's how I bounce. That's what it was.
Right.
Now when you walk back and see your little cousins that grown up to grown folks and they got kids, and you like, wow, who's you? They like, who is you?
And I think that's like
okay.
even a bigger part on my part, at the tail end of my career. Like I had ran into dudes where they were in my housing unit like when I first started. So you figure, I did 27 plus years. So these dudes have been down that long, as long as I did my career there, these dudes were locked up. And, a lot of them is like, I'm trying to get out now. And it's like, you've been doing all this bullshit inside, prolonging that chance for you to get out. It's like, you got to grow up. And at that point, it's like, it's going to even be harder for you to manage when you do get out.
Yeah, I understand. So as a lot of people now these days dealing with the entertainment world, how they glorify this and that and so on. They leave that standing count part out of the equation. They think everything's a video. They think everything is a movie. Yeah, well, if you still packing up burners and sticks or whatever you want to call them now these days, you get caught with it. I understand you really get caught with it and went out with it. But in the result, if you get caught with it, you can hit them two things again. You get gunned down by the police, or you can do your thing and then end up on the yard. And again, several years, life sentences, 100 years stacked on you. I just need to make sure that we let the people know that you need not to glorify the street life in these videos and these movies that they got. There's another element to that where you can end up. You could be in
definitely, and it's a trip because even myself, on the better side of the law, supposedly, I still watch. I was raised on rap music, so listen to the bullshit in the music. It still grasps my attention. But I think for myself, I know the reality of it and I know the entertainment of it. So for me in my life, it's entertainment. I could listen to this song and a dude saying that he murdered all these dudes, but for me it's just entertainment. And I think that's the difference, with a lot of these kids. I mean, half of these dudes that sing these songs, I really doubt if they're about that kind of life.
Well, let me ask you this. Unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to, unfortunately, you have those who are on their way. It's just how it is. That's just how it is. They're on their way. Some know it and some don't know it. But the ones who know they're on their way, what can they expect when they hit that yard? What can they expect the program to be, from what your eyes have seen?
Well, I worked a reception center years ago. So like reception center, you ain't getting out to sell too much. It's all about them, testing you, your education, your reading level and all that, seeing what kind of program you're going to be placed in, your custody level. And I don't even remember how long your orientation period is. But then once you get off of orientation, if that prison is going to suit your needs, you'll stay at that prison. But, if you level 4 and you're a little knucklehead, I mean, you're going to go to some gladiator yard, somewhere up north somewhere.
What is a gladiator yard? What's one of the gladiator yards?
Well, I mean, and I even hate that I said that because that's an old term. In my opinion, you don't really have gladiator yards no more. That was back in the day when Corcoran, Pelican Bay, Susanville. There was some rough yards back then where.
Fomby, you familiar with these yards?
The line. And let me not forget like Calipat and Centinela, Ironwood. I mean, there was some yards with some heavy dudes on there. And Junior, just like I told you when I rode up to Lancaster, they called it Jurassic Park, and it wasn't no joke. It was not no joke.
Yeah.
When I started, Junior, they were on a lockdown, and the week that I started, they were just coming off a lockdown, and I want to say they have been locked down for a few months. Woo. And that was the first day that they were going to have yard. And I get a phone call saying, hey, release all the inmates out for yard. I'm like, nah, I'm not falling for that. I'm like, there's no way in the world. There's 200 dudes in this building. There's no way in the world we letting all 200 out to the yard. But sure enough, that was the program.
Yeah.
200 inmates out of each building, 5 buildings. Everybody had the opportunity to go out to the yard. So can you imagine a yard? I can't even say what the square foot is, but nice size yard, but almost 1,000 dudes out there.
At one time.
1,000 dudes out there on the yard.
Yeah.
That's an accident waiting to happen.
Exactly.
Junior, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Listen to this man talk, man. Just got my mind flashing back. He damn me like, hey, look, he damn me called off every yard I was on. I was in Calipatra, thing from like 94, 95, 95 or something like that, in 94, 95, 96, 97. Parole, no, like August of 97. We'll tell you something about Calipatra. I don't know if he ever was there, but he know what I'm about to say. The Calipatra 5. These some keyways that ran up in the program office.
See, you were about to read my mind because I was about to ask you, were you there then?
Yeah, I was there. I came just I was there. Yeah, that was different. They usually do I don't want to call all their names because some of them might not be living and some might be out. Maybe I don't think one is out. There's some, but if they could have went to prison board and got out, so I don't want to really like go into a lot of this and that. Just call it the Calipatra 5, and they went and handled their business, man. That was the most attacks on officers at that time I ever seen.
Yeah.
That was something big.
Some officers that worked that program building.
Right. So they ran up in it was down in the desert. It was like, this is the desert, home. Anybody know about Calipatra or Imperial Valley? It's the desert. Even the SEALs, they come in, they do like 6, 7, 8, 9 months or a year. They trying to get the hell out from down there. Even from the vibes or in the sun. Because you're in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, how hot do it get down there?
Man, hundreds.
Hey, as speaking of how hot it gets, you figure you remember the heat alerts.
Yeah.
Like in the desert, I want to say it's 90 degrees, so they would have months where the heat alert was never deactivated. It would always be too hot outside.
Yeah. When the heat alert was for people who had triple CMS, which is medical, taking psych meds. Yeah. And then had other medical issues that they couldn't be out there under that 90 degrees heat. They had to take it in. I mean, go in the cell to go to the day room. Or they will call and come get you because people falling out around there. There's been death. Besides attacks, there's been deaths from okay, I got this. It was the echo. All right, I don't know what to do about the echo. Snowball is echoing. You're still echoing? But I'll listen to you again when you speak about you ever worked the shoe the hole.
AdSeg, yes. Yeah. Not actually a shoe.
Okay, well, we usually call a hole after you get sentenced the same damn thing. It's just a paperwork where they give you the shoe. They will give you a TV and the radio. So then when you was in the hole, you ain't got nothing. Well, I think now they allow you to have your
everything.
TV on the hole.
Yeah, they allow you to have everything now.
Yeah, see, when I first started going, I first got my first number. I went to Chino. From the gang module to Chino, and sent me straight to Chino to the back docks. And back then, the system was different. You could have money and all kinds of stuff. So when I went there, got in some stuff in Madrone and Sycamore, and Chino. So when we got down, they got in some activity, some gang shit going on. They threw a motherfucking hole down the side of the gym. I think a Bear Poster, whatever, across the overflow or something. Well, dude, Junior on that side at the time, Don Moose was on that side.
They threw you over there?
Yeah, nigga, that cross you up, nigga. If they think you, sorry about that, but they think you, if you one of them dudes and you cripping, they will slide you with the Don Moose at. They will send, man, look, fucking with the right CO, the right sergeant, they will put you in a situation where they know your ass for to get done, and if you survive, they shot. They like, damn, he didn't get killed. Oh, okay, now let's say all of them like that, but the correctional officers who in sergeants, lieutenants, and administration will put your ass in the trick bag if you give them a problem or they dislike you. End of story, dog. And you know I ain't lying. It been a minute he didn't seen or like some things he probably couldn't stop. He just had to go down like that. And it's like, again, you talking all that. If you talking, if you woofing, like they be rapping or singing or pressing their line. And, is that right? Okay, I got you. Give them a bed move or pop that door open. And let out 4 or 5 enemies. They know you're your enemies. They will set you up, dog. That's what they will do.
Well, I mean, anybody that don't believe what you're saying, look up the history of it. And I'm not saying nothing that's not in the news or on the internet, but the whole Corcoran thing when they were supposedly setting up the fights, and that kind of the term of the gladiator fights,
And it was just at Corcoran. That was just the one that the whistleblower blew. Actually, that same CO blew the whistle, which means he told on all the cops that was involved in that activity. They sent him down there, and Calipatcher had his ass in the on the yard. So the COs was like people that was up in Calipatcher, it was in Corcoran, they got transferred down, and like, man, that dude used to be in Corcoran. Okay. No, he was one of them dudes, homie. What? Oh, yeah, he root the band, woo wah wop. He was getting ousted out up in the police. They put him, you know what I'm saying? They know if the police down there, they police needed a police that's gonna back their play in Calipatcher. Simple as that. Because they was getting attacked. They was getting attacked on the regular. But nothing to see a motherfucker spin off and just get off into the police ass real quick. Next thing, police stand up. They coming like 100 of them. We couldn't watch on some real talk. This ain't real. This is real what I'm saying to you. And this man know I'm saying it's real. It don't just happen at Calipatcher. It happened to other institutions, level 4s or level 1s or whatever. Man, when the police come, better handle your business, dog, because they coming. You better wherever your target is, you better get off in the deep because you're gonna get outnumbered. They're gonna come about. They're gonna be running. When the alarm go off, they coming
with the ride gear and everything.
Yeah, they coming, and they know if it's tension on the yard. They know they can feel it. They can see it. They get motherfuckers that roll a kite, rolled it up in the middle of the night. Police took them in the cage. It's a cage they put them in. They be debriefing. They where I'm coming from. But that's the same thing where he understands the word debriefing.
Mm-hmm.
He understands that. Or debriefing. We'll get into that. I'll allow you to elaborate on that. So I don't want people to think I'm making up. They like, oh, no, I'm saying real talk. This is something ain't gonna be talked on a regular show about what we talking about. They ain't scared. They can hide this from you. They ain't gonna let you hear this. Okay.
But I will say, JJ, through all the lawsuits and all that, it is definitely a changed department. You're more accountable for the things that you do, the things that you say. So on that aspect, it has changed. I won't say my opinion better or worse, but it definitely has changed as far as the legal aspect of it and everyone being accountable for what they do and they say around there.
Let me ask you this. As inmates, we deal with a lot of racism amongst ourselves. As being on your side of the fence, do you guys deal with that as well?
Are you referring within our own circle or?
Yes.
Within our own circle, I'm gonna say I personally never have been. Even when I worked at Lancaster, it was a Mexican sergeant that gave me my first job. So, I can't speak upon that.
How about dealing with the inmates as far as, is it hard being a black CO dealing with inmates?
Junior, I'm glad you asked that. I can honestly say that being black, working inside of a prison, it was more difficult dealing with my own race than it was other races. And it's crazy because I could have this white dude with all kind of, white power, swarticas and all that over his face. And this dude could address me as sir, with all the respect in the world. But if I have to deal with a black, I'm all kind of house niggas and, and it's like, You know, like, you know, I didn't disrespect you, but, you know, just because, you know, I'm trying to do the right thing, you know, I'm a house nigga now.
Yeah, you can get a lot of that, boy.
Yeah.
But, hey, look.
Damn.
Hey, look, I'm laughing because it's not a fun. They say the same thing, make you laugh and make you cry. Understand what
Exactly.
it said? So I was the one that was, if he wouldn't like a fair, look, I was looking for a fair office, no matter what race they was. Fair. That's all I was looking for, fairness. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say this. He ain't got the elaborate on which he can or not. He's right. He probably went through some stuff with some real killers. Yeah, he really went through some stuff because at one time was not that many employed. Well, excuse me. At one time when I first went to the system, which was in the late 80s and early 90s, when I first started going, there was a lot of black officers working in CDC. Was. Everywhere I went, I was like, damn, okay, all right. And it was more comfortable to deal with them because they was our people. You understand where I'm coming from? But as years left, that was a short amount of blacks working in the corrections now.
Yeah.
It's a short amount.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very, in California Department of Rehabilitation, it's a you know, if you look about how they live and how they get paid, they make a nice chunk of money. Actually, they make more than the CHP or battle with the CHP, California Highway Patrol. They make more than a patrol officer drive around in your black and whites. Yeah, the CLs make more than that. And they got benefits. Actually, they got the most, either the second or maybe third most powerful union in the state of California.
Mm.
And you bring up a good point because the job itself, it was foreign to me before I joined. But like growing up in San Bernardino, you know, me saying, "Oh, I want to go," you know, join law enforcement, you know, that wasn't a cool thing. Yeah. So I had a boy that, you know, still a very good friend of mine. He was just he was that dude that was into everything. And I think when he solidified it for me, was like, "Hey, Kev, yeah, you need to go do that. You know, there ain't nothing around here for you." And I praise this dude to this day because, just like you said, the money ain't bad. I was like, how me and Junior I was telling Junior about that E40 song when he talking about squares, making money just as much as a dope dealer, you know, in the long run. Yeah. And I could say, you know, I'm not lacking, you know, I have a nice home, you know, nice car, a motorcycle, you know, my hobbies, you know, I'm not wanting for anything, you know, my family is provided for. So on that aspect, you know, I try to encourage people like, hey, if you got a clean record, you know, this is a great avenue for you. But you have to look at yourself and say, is my street credit, is it worth more than, you know, my livelihood? So is that street credit going to provide for my family and all that? Or if I take that jump, you know, you might look at it as working for the man, but you know, I'm not going to have no wants or no needs.
Yeah, and for all the viewers are listening and then looking, and then all the listeners listening on all the streaming sites that we are on, you got a young brother coming out of high school and, you know, or going to city college or working a little job, I'm gonna encourage that they go online, fill out application now. Based on what? They make real good money. I'm saying I want to be a CEO, but had I not did the life I have and not listen to my dad, I would have been a CEO. I'd have been working for the railroad. But if you got a parent that works in there, they make good money again, and you ain't got to have no college degree. Would you like to have one? You would like to have one, though. You probably the kind of money they give you can go get you a college degree and pay it on your own. But they need to go online and fill that application out, man, go get that job. You got an uncle or daddy like me and Junior, you know, you can deal with us for years and writing us and seeing us and going in and out and seeing us fighting folks and getting all y'all involved, help getting, you know, all that there. You might want to fill out because I got an auntie that worked for she came to visit me when I was in Tehachapi. I was Taxi Max. They was on 4B. I was on 4A and 4B, level 4 yard. My auntie came over with my dad. So my dad, first time ever come to see me in prison, dad told me this. He said, "Look, boy, get your ass in some trouble if you want." I was already getting in trouble, getting kicked out of junior high school, getting arrested. You know what I mean? Banging, pushing the line. My dad had never seen me in prison. He was stuck to that line that I ain't gonna never see your ass. You gotta get some shit you on your own. One day I was sitting in the cell, Tachi Max, snowing down, cold as hell out there. Nigga freezing like a big dog. They got on thermals, state uniform, and the sweatsuit on.
Beanie.
Man, with the hot pot going to keep the cell warm. That's how cold it is up in there. I get the visit. I'm like, oh, okay, I got a visit. I didn't know I was getting one. I was on some, trippy shit. So I come out, go to visit, walk out there to see old stripper. You got to get stripped out. Strip out means you got to come up out of all your clothes. You got to get asshole naked and do the freak dance. You know what I'm talking about? You smell it.
It's funny, JJ, because me and Junior was just talking about that before you came back on.
Very humiliating.
Yeah, you got to come out. This is where you got to get asshole fucking naked in front of about 4 or 5 police. I don't matter how other it's a difference to me from an inmate and convict. So I'm gonna say convicts. Okay. It matter no matter what they convicts and inmates, they men. So you got man, somebody got ass and feet all up in there, man. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker ain't took no shower, and you got numerous of dudes coming and going. You gotta get naked, do the little weird ass dance, and then put your shit back on, go out there. Man, that's degrading, man. You gotta fucking pull your sack up and bust your ass cheeks open. Yeah, that's what you have to do.
No,
Fuck
JJ,
that.
and elaborate. Not only before the visit, then what do you have to do after the visit?
Like run the same play right back to me. Asshole naked, doing the dance. It's crazy, homie.
Yeah.
You can never get comfortable with having your shit out in front of a bunch of men. And then everybody, ain't nobody sliding through.
We got 2 questions coming. Let it go, Control. What we got? Chia-san, what's going on? Shout out to you, man. Do y'all think the lack of black COs is due to the pushback from family or neighborhood?
Ooh,
I would definitely say yes, especially far as neighborhoods. I never kept it a secret of what I do, but I still have friends that and just a quick story, like yesterday. Yesterday, a childhood friend, his mother passed away. Went to the funeral. After the funeral, they had a little outing at the house. I was kind of skeptical about going, but I was like, most of these dudes, I've known all my life. And I'm like, there's still dudes around there that I've known my whole life that don't know what I do.
Oh, wow. That's
But that's a good ass question because you gotta look at it. Like I say, he says that it changed, which it could change came about. It's just the time I was going through there. This was really going on. So I always don't want to bad mouth, especially when dealing with this penitentiary yards and county jails and shit like that. Ain't nothing. Not to say that we still subjective, Junior and I. We don't live that life as we once done. We still subjected to go to jail. Just I feel like I ain't clear of nothing. You know what I'm saying? I used to be knocking on the door like, hey man, let me back in, dog. I'm just using that as a figure of speech from the shit I used to do on the regular, day in, day out, hour after hour. So I was at the door. Exactly, man. Get my shit back. So believe me, that's what I was doing when I was and I was active in the streets. So I'm saying to you that there was a lot of other races in there that were COs, lieutenants. The only black officers that were there, like it was like you might have one race of officers. When they used to come through the yard, they used to have these COs come walk through the yard. Them walk. They first get they like cadets. They would come on the yard. They were like, "Hey, look at these dudes you're gonna be dealing with." And you would see a pack of them. You see like 1 or 2 blacks in the whole pack. Like, damn. Like 25, 30 of one race and 10 another race, and then 2, 3 blacks. And then might be more black females than black males.
Uh-oh, we got another question. Let it rip, Control. Second question. Andy Leach. How you doing, Andy Leach? I think I missed my last question. Have he seen mistreatment towards inmates by personnel? And if so, what was his reaction to it and what action did he take?
Whoa.
This live, baby.
That's a deep one. I can honestly say yes. I've seen it. Back then, and I'm talking 20 plus years ago, especially being new, you're pretty much it's instilled to you to mind your own business. Like, you ain't gonna be that guy that as JJ just said, that whistleblower. So it's kind of instilled to you to not go beyond your scope to go tell on that person. Now I've grown, I didn't have nothing to lose at the tail end of my career. So if I saw something wrong, I had no problems on saying that. I've grown into that man that, I'm willing to tell on you now because, basically that's what they paid me to do anyway. So I had no problems on saying that, hey, the dude was down, why you hit him, shit like that. But, early on, I can definitely say I've seen a lot of shit that went on that wouldn't go on today. But like I said, we're talking, 20, 25 years ago, early mid 90s. So
yeah,
it's a difference. And just like I was just telling JJ, the department itself has revolved. Back then, it was pretty much, department, they created their own policies and procedures. So they pretty much did what they want to do. But nowadays, like, you're not going to find that to happen because, everything is in the penal code. So, somebody even accuse you of doing something wrong, you're going to answer some questions and not, within that circle, it's going to go outside that prison and you're going to have to answer some serious questions.
Oh, is that because of that? The federal court made some rulings as well to the CDCR, and to my recollection, CDC pressed it a hard. They changed it from CDC to CDCR, and then the R is rehabilitation. There was no rehabilitation when they threw the R on there. It was not. They had to look the buildings, for the voc and education, but they weren't really trying to help nobody come home and rehabilitate nobody at the time when I was in there. It wasn't. Then there was some avenues for you to rehabilitate, dealing with the voc program. And they had that little program that was selected at different institutions that had that. If you had a lot of drama going on at the institution with them, what I mean by drama, stabbings and melees and riots, they went too open to open up that voc area and let your ass back there where them tools was.
Oh yeah. No, and I think it's just like, I always use the term, I can't help you if you don't want help.
Right.
So, if you want to be that knucklehead, you're gonna be that knucklehead. If you want to try to better yourself and get some skills under your belt, that's up to you to make that decision. I think a lot of people need that push, but for the most part, you can't convince somebody to change. Because if I drink alcohol, you can't convince me like that's not the thing to do. Like, shut up. This is what I do. So, you got that person has to want to change.
Correct. And a lot of things, like since I left when I paroled, now they got family visits. See, a lot of things we had Junior in the CDC we had a lot of stuff that you could do before, but as years was going, CDC was snatching shit, taking the weight. They let you we used to get our buff on. They took the weights. And that's when all the drama started happening when they started taking stuff. They got turned all the way up. They didn't even have nothing to lose. Can't go buff. You can't use a lifer, and you couldn't get the family visits. So now you got dudes that can't buff and ain't got no visits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I seen it unfold and I was like, this ugly. You know, it's time for me to start going to jail, homie. It was getting ugly. It was ugly up in there, dog. You know what I mean? So now the stuff they got, they allow the visits back. Now you got people to really, them family visits do 1,000 powwow to the person.
Oh yeah.
Your old mind changed different. Like you start the hold up, homie. Hey, we ain't doing this. Because I'm better go to, I don't want to fuck up my family visit. And I'm trying to parole.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You take that away from that family bond. It ain't just banging them out. But family visits is also you could bring your kids up there. Or your parents could come see you and hang with you. You feel what I'm saying? You can have that connection with that family visit. You know, it's not always going out there with your old lady and doing your thing. Sometimes you got the advantage to sit down with your family and this is a little like mobile home type thing, little bungalow, and you can sit down and chop it up with your family and keep that connection going. And that was paramount to have.
See,
because
one thing about family visits that a lot of people don't understand, they not coming from around the corner, bro. They are coming like what, 2-3 hour, 4-hour drive, sometimes. Yeah.
Depending where you at, because you could be in Crescent City, that's Pelican Bay. You could be in I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna say it on the thing. Susanville was known, we used to call it Loser Bitch World. Yeah, real shit.
Because nobody ain't coming up there.
Yeah, you 5 miles from God. That's how far you up in there.
Ooh, yeah, I know.
You up in high desert. They call the level 4 called high desert. I went up there and I was with the bullshit up on the yard up there, dog. Man, homie, it was so woo. Man, you ain't seen no racism. You ain't seen no racism till your ass is black in Susanville on the yard. It ain't no, hey, look, no. It's off.
Hey, JJ, let me tell a quick story real quick.
Okay, do so.
So when I'm on transportation,
woo,
the first time I go to Crescent City, I didn't bring a lunch. So I'm staying in a hotel. I go across the street to a grocery store. And like when I go to the grocery store, like everybody in this grocery store is like looking at me like I got shit on my face. And the more I walk around the store, it finally clicks. Like I have not seen one black, one Mexican, one Asian. So I'm like, that's why they're looking at me. They ain't used to no black people coming through here.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, between Crescent City and Susanville / High Desert, when the people come visit you, my black folks come see you, and it probably have the Hispanics too that came up to visit. You coming through a hick town.
Yeah.
Now, if they only got 2-3 hotels, they know you there for 1 or 2 reasons. You either work at the prison or you visit somebody at the prison.
Yeah.
They know that off the top, so they see you. And the people that come see me like, man, I ain't never come back up with this motherfucker see your ass again. I'm about to hurt somebody out here. These motherfuckers ain't playing. Yeah. You know they will tell you that. So it was limited on blacks getting visits because you had to really, man, see your parent or your wife or kids really experience racism at its highest pinnacle. And then they coming in, you not out there to protect them, and they coming in the institution and sitting down, they spooked out now. Like, man, look, you feel me? You really had to reevaluate yourself like, damn, my family for the drive back 8 hours or 9 hours in the snow back home. So that's a mentally challenge. It's mentally fuck with you, dog. Like, really realize you done fucked all the way up or did what you did because you could have had to do what you had to do. You know what I mean? And you sitting up in the cell, and they driving on the highways back home. I'll tell you something, man. The many dudes, I don't want to bring none of their names up, but if they're alive still today, they see this show. There's many dudes that lost some of their family members on that highway coming to visit and leaving from a visit.
That's sad, man. That's very sad.
You know what I'm saying? Put that in a rap song. Put that in a movie. Motherfuckers. Real shit.
No, it's like I was telling Junior earlier, not even the decisions that you make on the streets trying to provide for your family and all that, whatever dirt that you're doing, it's the aftermath. And like I told Junior, now you have to fend for yourself and take care of me. Because now I'm in need. I need some phone calls and I don't even know how much the phone calls cost, but
Oh,
I
it
know
was
they're a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was that was another thing. Junior know about them phone bills coming in. See, I know how the feds working. California was raping people on the phone bill.
Oh well, Steve. Well, feds, if you don't have money on your books, you ain't getting no call because you got to pay for your own calls. In the feds, you get money on your card. They give you a code, and you go to the phone booth and dial your code in, and it's only 15 minutes. The phone cut off, then you got to wait 10 minutes to get back home.
That's the same thing. But I think
they'll be on the phone all day, so they stopped that.
You know, we had the 15-minute calls, and the gunman controls the gunman controls the phone. So while you're on the phone, it's a man or one, whoever's the gunner up there in the control booth. They just listen to all the conversation. Whatever you talking about, they hear it, and it's recorded.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you can. This man done heard a lot of people crying on the phone that he thought, "Wow, I thought this dude was real tough."
JJ, you know the funniest shit though? That same situation, I have heard people pretending like they're talking to somebody on the phone just to perpetrate to everybody around them to make it look like they still got somebody to talk to.
I was happy as fuck. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, yo,
it's sad.
You came on our show and gave the other side of the street from your perception of being a CO. We appreciate you for coming on. And also, Fomby knows everything you talking about, and you know everything he talking about. I can integrate a little bit, but I'm more federal. But to the viewers and listeners out there, you know, you listen to this man tell you the stories, you listen to Fomby tell you the stories all the time. You know, don't break up your family. If you don't have a family, don't throw away your life, your youth, whatever you have left, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have more years behind you than ahead of you. So just, you know what I mean? And Kev, you know, once again, thank you for coming on. All the viewers and listeners, thank you for tuning in again with me, J.J.Fomby, on the line. And I don't have no outro, nothing to give out. You know, either one of y'all have something to give out?
I'm let the officer speak. Go on, Mr. Kev.
Well, Junior and JJ, I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's definitely a push, you know, not only for, you know, blacks, but, you know, Mexicans, you know, any other race out there. Hey, you know, it's definitely not worth your time, your family time, the pain that you cause, you know, your mother, your father, your sisters, your kids. I mean, especially your kids. And I think that's another point that I wanted to make is like, you know, especially in these times right now, it's so much hatred, you know, to the police. You know, you got so much pushback from these kids, and, you know, I even have to tell my kids, you know, every police officer ain't gonna shoot you. You know, they ain't out there to kill you and all that. And just a real quick story.
Yeah.
I had a Corvette, and me and my youngest son was out, you know, top down, you know, we on the freeway, we get pulled over. I look over at my kid is terrified that this policeman is walking up to the car. And I'm like, you know, what you scared of? He like, is he gonna shoot us? And I'm like, you know, kid, come on, you know, it's not gonna happen that way. And you know, me being who I am, the things that I say, and he let us go. And I'm like, see, you know, you give respect, you get respect. So, you know, it's a lot that, you know, we could all teach these kids out there. So I definitely salute you guys for what you guys are doing. You're more than welcome to try to tap into any knowledge that I know of, and you know, anything I could give back to you guys. I'm definitely here for you.
Appreciate you. We'll definitely have you on again.
I appreciate that, Mr. Kev. I appreciate it. You, in my eyesight, maybe you're welcome on this show, and anytime you choose to come on, and more definitely we'll be tapping back in with you. Because we're gonna have further shows, and our show would like to incorporate you in the show.
Oh, definitely.
And I just want to say thanks, man. Appreciate for the viewers and the listeners that can hear and see you and say, oh, okay, I didn't know that part about the game. Don't get caught up in the videos all on the stage. all in the program. Don't get caught up in the hype like that, people. Please do not do that, because your end result could be looking at him while he slide your tray of food through the door. You know what I'm saying? It's real.
JJ, that's we're gonna have to save that topic for another day.
Okay. On that note, then, hey, for all the viewers and listeners, once again, I need you to hit that red button where it says subscribe to it, turn not red no more. You're a subscriber. All you listeners on the platforms, stream platforms, we appreciate y'all listening. Continue to listen and follow us. It's Artist Shield, baby.
Every day on the line. Every day on the line. Every day on the soapbox. Every day on the line. I remain every day on the line. Well, every day.